I am coming at you real hot from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. My voice is hoarse because I have not talked to anybody. My family has been downstairs laughing and having a great time. And I've been having a great time doing this, my very favorite thing, which is digging into a question, which is what our truth groups are doing, the power of sin. I was so excited. I don't know that you'll be interested, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So my question was about the power of sin. I always try to go back to the most simple question, which is, what is sin? Even though I feel like I know what sin is, and I'm really glad I did, because it took me to a deeper place than I would have thought I would have gone. So I'm going to show you what I did. Here was my question, what is sin? And I just went to a couple different lists of stuff where it's, anger, rage, impurity, lust, malicious behavior, slander, gossip, dirty language, lies, outburst of anger, selfish ambition, dissension, division, drunkenness, the 10 Commandments, false worship, idolatry. We all know this. What is sin? So as I'm trying to think of what is sin and why is it so powerful? I stumbled across Romans 7:8. This is in the Amplified. Now listen to what it says. So this is what got me sort of on this track. But sin, finding opportunity through the commandment or the law to express itself, produced in me every kind of coveting and selfish desire. Sin, which makes it seem like it's its own entity, not a list of stuff, but something different is what first caught my eye. Finding an opportunity, like sin is out there searching for some opportunity to express itself. So sin is wanting to express itself. And how it's expressing itself is by producing in me coveting and selfish desire. So I actually did this. This is not what I originally did. This is what I originally did. And I thought it too many words to show you. But I started with a question of what is sin, made out the list of what I just showed you, and then realized through Romans 7:8 that sin is like looking to express itself, looking for an opportunity to produce in me coveting and selfish ambition and all this other list, right? Which is actually a fruit. So does this make sense? Sin, which now I'm asking what is at the root of all sin, because there's something, this sin is producing in me these types of behavior, which is really just the fruit of the root. Okay, there is a root to sin that is actually the deepest, dirtiest part of sin that's producing behaviors that are sin, but they're just a production. It's like a display of what the actual sin is. I hope this is making sense. So when I went to Romans 1, I'm almost done. I just made this really simple flow of logical thought. Here's Romans 1. I started in 18. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven. I made everything that was God green and everything that was sin orange, just to make it clear to my own self, because you can see a pattern, and I love patterns. So the wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against godless and wicked people. It defines godless and wicked people as those who suppress and stifle the truth. Then my question is, so what in the world is the truth? Well, we'll go right on down the line. God has made himself plain to them. And it talks about his eternal power and divine nature. So this truth of who God is. Now they are stifling and suppressing this truth. But even though they could see this truth all around them in creation, in his display of wonder, in their own life, of being on this planet, but they did not glorify him or give thanks. So we know that this truth that was being made plain to them, they refused to glorify and give thanks. And I actually think that is how this refusal, the didn't, is the suppressing and stifling by not glorifying and giving thanks. Now, what this did in them when they suppressed the truth by not glorifying and giving thanks, it made their thinking become dark. So this is what's happening. The godless are suppressing the truth and their thinking is becoming dark. Well, what happens when your thinking becomes dark? An exchange happens. They exchange the glory of God, who's been plainly revealed. And once we see him, we're to glorify and give thanks. They didn't do that. So instead of doing that, they exchanged it for images made to look like humans and animals. So they exchanged the glory of God for the glory of anything else that had been created. Well, then God said, since that's what you're doing, I'm going to give you over to your sinful lust. So God is calling this sinful lust, this worshiping of anything else that's created, a sinful lust. And what happens? And I think this is our ultimate answer. And the ultimate answer for what is the root? This sinful lust, they, the godless and wicked, exchanged the truth about God for a lie. And this lie was worshiping created things rather than the Creator. This lie, I think, is the root of all sin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip this out. Hold on. And I'm going to stick it over here. And I think this is correct. So let's look at it now. What is the root of all sin? The sinful, godless, and wicked exchanged the truth about God for a lie, and they worshiped created things, themselves, others, the moon, the sun, the stars, it didn't matter, rather than the Creator himself. And what happens when this happens, when there's this exchange for the truth about God for a lie and worshiping of created things, it produces, that is the ultimate sin, and it produces in me every bit of all of this. This, lying, cheating, stealing, robbing, gossiping, sexual immorality, adultery, all of that is just the fruit of the actual root of this. So I don't know if that excites you as much as it excites me, but it does. And it's because before I can move on to the new self and where we're headed with all of that, I really want to see really plainly what is at the root of sin, because I think that's where, at the root, is where we'll find the power of sin. And it was helpful for me. So anyway, all right, love you guys. I'll talk to you later.